Good morning, I'm WaywornWyrm, and welcome to my channel. And welcome back to Monster Manual Backward, where today we're going to be looking at the Cultist and the Cult Fanatic. So, let's jump in. So the Cultist is medium humanoid, any race, any non-good alignment. So we're talking about your neutrals and your evils. Armor class of 12, 2d8 hit points, 30 feet of speed. We've got pluses to dexterity, and that's it. 2 skills, deception and religion. They can speak any one language, usually common. Challenge rating 1/8. And they have ability Dark Devotion. Has advantage on saving throws against being charmed or frightened. Cultists have scimitars, +3 to hit, 1d6 +1. Cultists swear allegiance to dark powers, such as elemental princes, demon lords, or archdevils. Most conceal their loyalties to avoid being ostracized, imprisoned, or executed for their beliefs. Unlike evil acolytes, cultists often show signs of insanity in their beliefs and practices. So clearly, the Cultist and the Cult Fanatic for this is taking on the more modern negative connotation of the word cult. Because originally, cult was, especially in like polytheistic religions, they were... Polytheistic is religions with many gods. A cult would be someone who follows the main religion, but specifically devotes to one god or goddess. So, like, cults of Athena, or the cult of Odin in the Northern Germanic religion. They eventually they got enough power to make Odin the top god, when it was originally probably either Tyr or Thor, but that is a discussion for a different video, maybe even a different channel. So that's just an interesting note. Cultists in D&D are assumed to be probably evil. How I would use this, the party is fighting a cult. The cult needs, your standard mook characters to go out and slow them down. Now, it says... It implies that, cultists could be anywhere, and especially in a lot of generally referred to as grimdark stories, there are hidden cultists everywhere. If I was doing that, I would blend the cultist with, going back to last episode, if it was a noble who is part of this cult, I would just I would take the noble stat, I'd give them Dark Devotion, and give them the skill Religion. Unless it was a commoner, I would probably just, to show someone who is a hidden cultist, I would use the stat block that would better portray who they are, and just give them Dark Devotion and Religion. Yeah, cultists are kind of... They're another stat block that's kind of designed to be nameless, faceless things to be quickly killed. They have single-digit hit points. Unless you roll your 2d8 and you get... I think you've got about a 50-50... No, you don't. You have less than a 50-50 shot of getting at least 10 hit points. You've got a 40% chance of... rolling 2d8 and getting a cultist that has 10 or more hit points. Give them a race. Again, that's a quick, easy way to make them stand out. And what I would do with that is just ahead, I would create a couple of stat blocks. I'd have my normal human cultist, and then, if I want to throw in some elven cultists, here's a stat block for that. Or if I wanted a couple dwarven cultists, because you're probably going to be just using this in a battle that's probably not even supposed to be the main battle. They're there to die, and in dying, slow your party down. You probably never want to have a single cultist. In fact, with a challenge of 1/8, it means it takes 2 cultists per one, for a single party member that is level 1 to really be considered a threat. And that's primarily because with an armor class of 12 and with 9 or less hit points, it should be 1 to 2 hits for your level 1 character to kill them. I did, a couple episodes ago, I did the math, and it's for an armor class of 12, you're looking at 65+% chance of a given level 1 character to be able to hit a cultist, and with 9 hit points, it shouldn't take more than 2 hits. So, there's not a lot to talk about with the cultist, but there you go. Moving on to the Cult Fanatic. Medium humanoid, any race, any non-good alignment. They have a slightly higher armor class at 13. They have 68 plus 6 hit points, so they have quite a few more. They have bonuses to dexterity, constitution, wisdom, and charisma. They're skilled in deception, persuasion, and religion. They speak any one language, usually common, challenge rating 2. They have dark devotion, which does the same thing as the cultist's dark devotion. And they have spellcasting. They're a 4th level spellcaster. And they use wisdom, which kind of sucks because they have a shitty wisdom score. Spell save DC of 11. That's not very hard to pass, and they get +3 to hit. Basically, they have 3 cantrips, 3 level 1 spells, 2 level 2 spells, 4 slots of level 1, 3 slots at the 2nd level, and they've got command, hold person. It looks like they just have cleric spells. Or maybe those are paladin spells. It's one of the two. And their actions, they have multi-attack. They can make 2 melee attacks. They have a dagger. Fanatics are often a part of a cult's leadership, using their charisma and dogma to influence and prey on those of weak will. Most are interested in personal power above all else. So, by now, you should all be able to guess what the first thing you can do to really change up how a cult fanatic feels, and that is give them a race. I'm going to just kind of keep pushing on that because that's really easy to do. It's a great way to make this random stat block stand out. Another way is change up what spells they can do. Yeah, it looks like they've got a couple of utility spells, couple of direct attack spells, and a couple of spells that are designed to stop a party member from acting how they would want to act. Either by putting them on the same side as the cult, or by just putting them out of play for a bit. And in 5th edition, the spells that they have that will have them not... have them kind of, sideline a character. That character gets saves every turn. It's unlikely that that'll take them a while to break out. So, yeah. Again, dagger. A dagger is a dagger. It's not that awesome of a weapon. I would say, a good way is just change out their spells. If you want to level them, I think they're based off the cleric, so use cleric progressions. I wouldn't give them like a channel divinity or anything like that, or any of the other like cleric-y powers, because if you're going to do that, use a priest or an acolyte. Maybe add in like some warlock abilities though. That could be fun. Maybe give them a different weapon. But these are definitely people who lead from the back. You break in, you finally got... You found the headquarters of the cult, and you break in, interrupting their ceremony, and the cult fanatic, who's on the other side of the room, looks up, sees you, points, and yells, "Attack!" And the, 20 cultists who are in the room turn around and swarm you, and he's casting spells from, safely on the other side of 20 people who are coming to kill you, or something like that. That'd be fun. That's kind of how I imagine cultists to be, or maybe like a D&D version of the opening cinematic of Far Cry 5, when you burst into the church. That, some version of that scene. I know it's a bit stereotypical, but it's fun. So yeah, that's how we'd use a cult fanatic. A leader, and he's never alone. He always has some group, some number of cultists who are around him, who will swarm the party as he stands safely from behind. Your cult fanatic is never going to rush in with melee. They will probably never use their dagger, unless they're really up against it. Especially because one of their cantrips is an offensive cantrip. So they will probably be dead before they run out of their 7 slots. And even if they're not, they'll still have cantrips. So that's... basically, as long as their cult is still alive, I imagine the cult fanatic will be there casting spells. And then maybe either when the cultists die, or if the battle is very strongly in the favor of the cultists, will the cult fanatic go up so that he can use his 2 dagger attacks. He just has a single dagger, but he can use it twice because reasons. So yeah, that's probably how I would use those. Now, I could make a whole long video on, how would I use a cult? I think that goes a little beyond what I'm imagining for this series, though. So I think that's going to be everything, and I hope everyone tunes in next time. We are going to be doing the Scout and the Druid. Thank you.